Pulp Lit Productions presents Robert E. Howard's Conan the Cimmerian Barbarian, the complete Weird Tales Omnibus. Written by Robert E. Howard, edited and annotated by Finn J.D. John. Narrated by Finn J.D. John. This audiobook comes with a complimentary copy of the print version of Robert E. Howard's Conan the Cimmerian Barbarian in interactive PDF form. Its table of contents is specially marked for use as a reference with the audiobook. To download it, point your browser to this book's download and support page at pulp-lit.com/270.html. That's 270.html. And now, Robert E. Howard's Conan the Cimmerian Barbarian, the complete Weird Tales Omnibus. Introduction: The Origins of Conan. When the first Conan of Cimmeria story appeared in the pages of Weird Tales magazine in December 1932, nothing quite like it had ever before appeared in print. Author Robert E. Howard had been writing stories broadly similar to it for half a decade, but it was with Conan and the Hyborian Age story world in which he was placed that Howard finally fully doped out the subgenre that would become known as sword and sorcery, of which Howard is today considered the founding father. Conan's origins date back to a literary experiment that Howard penned in 1926 titled The Shadow Kingdom, featuring a new character, Kull, exile of Atlantis. The idea, Howard's great innovation, was, at its core, historical fiction set in a faux historical era, about which most or all of the details are lost in the mists of time. That faux historical period could contain anything Howard might like it to include. Evil races of sentient snake things, sorcerers, undead creatures, demons walking upon the earth, anything. In other words, Howard was creating a secular mythology. And as with any mythology, secular or no, there would be a hero, a Ulysses, a Theseus, an exceptional man of legend striding through that myth world sword in hand, righting wrongs and slaying supernatural monsters, and along the way providing metaphorical insight onto his world and ours. Trouble was, as Howard would soon discover, he'd gone too far into the past. The Thurian Age, as Kull's milieu was named, had so little in common with the modern world that it might as well have been staged on another planet. No reader was going to feel a personal connection to it, or be tempted to indulge the fantasy that it was a real part of the world's history. Historical fiction draws much of its power from a sense of connection to the real world of long ago. That source of power was foreclosed to the Thurian Age. It was just too far distant in time. Nonetheless, the Shadow Kingdom was well received, but Weird Tales rejected several follow-up Kull stories. At roughly the same time, Howard's Texas-style tall-tale liar humor stories about the prize-fighting sailor Steve Costigan were taking off like a rocket in Fight Stories magazine. So Howard dropped the Kull project after just a handful of attempts so that he could focus more energy on Costigan. At the same time, though, he was finding success with another historical fiction fusion innovation, the grim, savage English Puritan, Solomon Kane. Kane's world was the skull-strewn chaos of Europe and North Africa during the 30 Years' War in the early 1600s. Little enough is known about specific events during that dark time that it was possible to take historical liberties with it as a story world so that it could accommodate dark magic, walking skeletons, vampires, magic staffs, and of course Nilonga the witch doctor. Howard quickly realized he was onto something with Solomon Kane. The first Solomon Kane story, Red Shadows, appeared in August 1928 in Weird Tales, and readers loved it. Here was a brooding, dark world of menace and witchcraft connected pseudo-genealogically to their own. It was easy for readers to take the ride, to suspend their disbelief and envision Kane's adventures as part of the real world, a secret part. But perhaps the connection to the real world was too close. The countries of 1630s Europe are well known, the causes of the conflict fully understood. There was only so much Howard could do in Solomon Kane's world, and the fact that he sent his hero into, quote, darkest Africa directly in the very first story suggests that he may have been feeling the weight of those constraints. Moreover, Solomon Kane is just a hard character to root for. Unlike Kull, he is, not to put too fine a point on it, really not a sane man. So
Sample complete. Ready to continue?